and welcome to Cooking with Cadman. So today we're going to be making Dutch apple cake. So for this you will need 100 grams of self-raising flour, 100 grams of cast sugar, which is finer, 100 grams of margarine, 2 eggs and an apple, also some baking powder to help it rise, and then for sprinkling on the top afterwards some cinnamon and some demerara sugar, but if you haven't got that you could use ordinary sugar on the top as well. Okay, so first thing you'll need to do is to preheat the oven. So I'm going to preheat it to 180 degrees and get that started. So we're going to make the cake using the creaming method. So the first thing we're going to do is to put the butter and sugar into the bowl, which I'll just sieve just to get rid of any lumps. And then you can use a wooden spoon to beat this, or if you've got one at home you can use an electric whisk. So the safety things for an electric whisk, you need to make sure that both of the blades are in tightly so they don't move about and fall out. Plug it in when you are ready. You're then going to lower it into the bowl. Do not turn it on when your whisk are up here because that is a hazard. So you're going to place it into the bowl and then whisk. Once it's changed in colour and gone a bit lighter and fluffier, you will then need to add the egg. I'm going to crack this into the 2 eggs into a bowl. That's so that we don't get any shell in it. We use 2 eggs because we're using 100 grams of the flour and sugar. Basically, for every 50 grams of flour and sugar you use, you would then use 1 egg. So if you wanted to make a bigger cake with 150, you'd use 3 eggs. If you're want to make a very small one, then it would be 1 egg with 50 grams. I'm just going to wash my hands because I've just cracked the eggs. And then with a fork, I'm just going to whisk the eggs just to break up the yolk and combine the egg whites with the egg yolk. Like so. And back over to the electric whisk. If you have a spatula, you can just move the mixture all down into the bottom to bring it together. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of egg at a time. Try not to spill it on the floor, on the table, and then whisk. And then I'm going to add a little bit more. And then I'll add the rest. As you can see, it's going a lighter colour. It's also increasing in quantity as well. That's due to the aeration of the eggs. Here we go, last bit. Once the mixture is all contained together, I'm then going to sieve onto, you can use baking paper or a paper towel. I'm going to just sieve onto here the self-raising flour and also just a teaspoon of baking powder to help it rise. There we go. And you then need to have a big metal spoon. I'm going to pop in a little bit of the flour and baking powder and catch it up, and then with a figure of 8 I'm going to combine the flour and egg sugar mixture. Right, so I'm now going to add some more flour into it. And again, figure of 8. This helps to keep the air that you've incorporated into the mixture while you weren't using the electric whisk. You need to make sure you get the bottom bits that are on the bottom of the bowl as well, because you don't want big lumps of flour. Just kind of turning it round, then we'll put the last little bit in. Try to keep your area tidy with all your waste together, and then the last little bit. And it's easier if you've got a glass bowl, because you can see that you've got all of the mixture combined from the bottom. Right, that's good. Then you need an oven-proof dish or container. You can use a foil one, and you're going to put this mixture into the container. Like so. It's a good idea to have a spatula around, because we don't want to waste any of the good mixture. And scoop out the bowl. Like so. And then if you give it a little bit of a shake, it'll flatten out. So that's basically our cake mixture. Now we need to make it into the Dutch apple cake. So to do this, we need to first of all core the apple. If you haven't got a corer, you can just slice it around the core. But if you've got a corer, it's much easier. All you do with this is place it over the stalk onto a chopping board, and then push down, and then it comes out all the way through the middle like so. You can pull it back out, and then you've got your core out. So then with a sharp knife, we want to cut this into very, very thin slices. So first of all, we will cut it in half, and then using the bridge or the claw, you're going to just cut very thin, as thin as you can, keeping your fingers back, slices of the apple. Possibly, and what we're going to be doing with this apple is to place it on the top of the sponge cake. So it's actually adding also some fruit in, which is always good. Apple a day keeps the doctor away and all that. That one's a bit thick, so I'm not going to use that. I'm going to see how it goes, putting these on to see if I need any more. So I'm going to start it at the bottom and build the apples nicely into the mixture. Like so. I think I will need a little bit more of the other one. This is a perfect size tin for a 2 cake mixture. There will just get a little bit more apple. That should do it. Like so. There you go. Lovely presentation. So then with the brown sugar, but like I say, if you haven't got brown sugar, you could use a bit more caster sugar. Going to add to this a teaspoon of cinnamon, about half-ish, quarter, however, it depends on how cinnamon you like it really. And then I'm just going to mix the sugar and the cinnamon together so it's incorporated. And then with a teaspoon, we're just going to sprinkle over the top evenly. So this will give it a nice cinnamon and like a glaze, because the sugar will caramelize as it cooks. A little bit more. Okay, so that's now ready to go into the oven. It's a good idea to put it onto a baking tray, as it's then easier to put in and out of the oven. If you're doing this in class as well, you can also get 2 onto one tray. So you would need, just remember whose is on the left and whose is on the right, or you could put a label on the container. So I'm going to place this in the oven using my oven gloves. And either checking the time or setting the timer for 20 minutes. Okay, so the cake's been in for 20 minutes now, so I'm going to take it out to see if it's cooked using our oven gloves. Watch the heat as it comes out of the oven, because it will blow back up. And make sure you close the oven door. Then using a skewer, you're going to poke it into the cake. Make sure you're going down to the middle bit particularly. If it comes out clean, then you know the cake is cooked. If it comes out with mixture on, then you need to put it back in the oven to cook it for a little bit longer. As you can see, the cake has risen nicely. It's got a nice golden brown on the top, and that looks very, very tasty. Once you know it's cooked, you can then make sure you turn the oven off when you've finished, and then allow the cake to cool before you remove it from the container. Hope you enjoy it. Thanks for watching Cooking with Cadman. Bye.